Patriots, this is wild. People are saying that Jake Paul lost hundreds of millions of dollars on the fight that he was supposed to win. But that Anthony Joshua went against the tongue sign script and pounded him out. And what happened? Look at what happened. Anthony Joshua allegedly, kind of suspiciously, was involved in an accident that almost took his life. It took the life of 2 other people. So a lot of people are questioning what is going on.
Fresh reports have sent shockwaves across social media. There are claims that Jake Paul is making a major move. His boxing persona has always balanced between 2 perceptions. He is seen both as a committed fighter who trains and competes seriously, and as a strategically built entertainment figure. Once audiences decide which image they believe most, every moment of his fights gets interpreted through that belief. Each strike, hesitation, and performance detail is judged according to that assumption, no matter what actually took place.
I actually nice to get that girl on.
What's going on?
What's up, Floyd?
I can have what I want.
What you mean with the camera? Oh, you got camera too. So who you supposed to be? I'm just working, fam.
What happened? You're not tough anymore since your loss? What happened since your loss? Yo, we gonna bust him up, guys?
I told you before, put that
Yo,
camera
let's
down.
bust him up. Where you running, Jake? Where you going since your fight? Since you lost? What's up, Jake? Where you going, Jake?
When the result of the fight didn't align with expectations of a clear and brutal finish, frustration rapidly turned into conspiracy claims. Supposed leaked plans and predicted outcomes created a simpler narrative for people to believe, rather than accepting the more complex truth that factors like age, timing, preparation, and tactics can lead to results that feel disappointing without being staged.
Calabasas confirmed that Jake Paul's home was being raided by the FBI. News station helicopters got footage and pictures of Jake Paul's house being raided.
Oh, they taking his guns and stuff. So there's got to be something gun related. Like, damn. Well, that's a sticky situation right there.
Photos show the FBI SWAT team seizing guns, several guns. According to the local ABC station, the weapons included a long gun that was next to the hot tub in the backyard. This search is part of an ongoing investigation, and no arrests have been made.
What's ironic is that many critics claim Jake Paul orchestrates his fights, yet at the same time they construct elaborate narratives of their own, treating random screenshots, gut feelings, and coincidences as proof, while brushing off any denials as part of a supposed cover-up. In that mindset, a neat, certain story feels far more satisfying than accepting ambiguity.
And this is Jake Paul's house, which got raided by the FBI. What could this guy be possibly into now?
Connect outside of YouTube. Twitter was buzzing with photos and videos of SWAT teams at Jake Paul's house yesterday. And no, they are not fake. The FBI and a SWAT team showed up at Jake Paul's house with a search warrant. The search began at 6 a.m. in connection with an ongoing investigation, according to FBI spokeswoman Laura I. Miller. Jake was not at home at the time. Unfortunately for T channels and everyone else that wants to know the scoop, the judge sealed the search warrant affidavit, so we don't actually know too much about why Jake Paul.
The doubt surrounding it isn't really about individual dislike. It comes from the fundamental contrast in competitive risk. Anthony Joshua has spent years competing against elite heavyweights in genuinely hazardous, career-defining fights, while Jake Paul hasn't regularly operated under that same level of sustained threat. That disparity is what drives the debate over how a matchup could be officially approved on paper, yet still feel, to many observers, lacking in authentic sporting legitimacy.
Any thoughts on AJ and the families?
Yeah, it's all prayers and blessings for Cena and Lots and Anthony, and I've kept them in my prayers, and it's such a tragic situation that we don't wish upon anybody, and I'm sending love to all of them and keeping them in our prayers, and I think everybody else should do the same. And we have so much love, and things are so much bigger than boxing and living life, and we're just all blessed to be here, and we all have to be grateful for that because you never know what's next.
Legitimacy itself turns into a point of conflict. One perspective measures it by formal agreements, regulations, and official sanctioning, while the other judges it by genuine uncertainty and real danger. From that viewpoint, there's no need to claim fights are scripted when the matchmaking process alone can influence how events unfold long before the opening bell.
And when you lose hundreds of millions of dollars, people do not take it too kindly. And I can see the Vegas odds. If they were saying, look, he wins, he always wins, it's going to happen in the 6th round. But no, Anthony Joshua said, not on my clock. I'm going to break his jaw in 2. 2, Johnny. Make it 2, Utah. Make it 2. What do you guys think about this? I don't know. Is this conspiracy theory? Is there some truth to it? I don't know. But it does seem pretty suspicious that it happened so soon after.
This is where the supposed fleeing narrative comes into play. For Jake Paul, the real challenge is that perception quickly becomes proof once online audiences pass judgment. Simply staying can appear as hiding, leaving can be seen as fleeing, talking can be interpreted as spinning, and staying quiet can look like an admission of guilt. In other words, fame transforms every ordinary action into another chapter in the story that people are eager to accept as truth.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua is a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active, you know, and this is going to be the first time that we see Paul, you know, fighting an active fighter. You know what I mean? We seen the Mike Tyson, that was all fun, that was cute, you know what I'm saying? It's fun and games and stuff, but now you're dealing with a real professional, you know, and so we'll see how it ends up in, you know, like I said, I think it's scripted.
At its heart, this story succeeds because it mixes verified facts with speculation, challenging viewers to separate reality from rumor. In doing so, Jake Paul becomes a representation of today's combat sports landscape, where visibility often outweighs trust, entertainment overtakes endurance, and every dispute contributes to a broader narrative about authority, influence, and reputation.
Jake would have won, everyone would have known it was rigged. He couldn't win that fight. So he said, let me get to round 5. Let me get there, because if I can get there, then everyone can make money. And the second round 4 hit, Anthony was ready. It was so obvious. It's so gross to me that I participated in this because I wanted to see him get knocked out, and that's exactly what he knows to be true. Most people want to see him get knocked out.
When the news broke linking Jake Paul to fresh high-stakes developments involving Anthony Joshua, the online MMA and boxing communities erupted. As soon as rumors about sudden movements, strategic travel, and behind-the-scenes maneuvering began to circulate, fans immediately debated whether this was a calculated legal strategy, a publicity stunt, or the start of a much bigger story. No one anticipated. The internet doesn't need official documents to spark chaos. The moment terms like federal agents and celebrity mansion are mentioned together, logic often gives way to excitement, and suddenly millions feel entitled to draw connections that might not even exist. This effect intensifies even further whenever Jake Paul's name enters the conversation.
I hear a lot of people saying, congratulations to Jake Paul for being brave to step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Not many people will want to step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Let me tell you something. If someone paid me $80 million to fight Anthony Joshua, I'm stepping in there tomorrow, right? No training, no nothing. I'm leaving straight from work. I fly to Miami and I'll get my jaw broken for $80 million, no problem. And I'm sure there will be millions.
News of an FBI search at Jake Paul's Calabasas residence hit the public like a scene from a blockbuster, rather than a standard legal procedure. Helicopters, tactical units, sealed warrants, and official silence made the event feel anything but ordinary. And when authorities declined to clarify their intentions, people quickly filled the gaps with speculation instead of waiting for answers. What sets this situation apart is that Jake Paul isn't treated like a typical public figure facing controversy. Instead, his actions are viewed as part of an ongoing saga, with each update framed as the next shocking installment rather than a single incident. This approach turns even routine events into fuel for the larger narrative. The story escalated, from celebrity scandal to full-blown mythology, once allegations about staged fights, protected outcomes, and brand-focused matchmaking surfaced. For years, critics have maintained that Jake Paul's boxing career exists in a gray zone where entertainment, priorities, and competitive integrity intersect in ways that challenge traditional expectations.